I know you're tired of feeling like this. You keep falling short and not being the Muslim you want to be. And I'm here to show you what's causing that. There are three major causes as to why you feel like this. We're going to go through all of them and show how they absolutely destroy discipline. Now, the first one is probably one that you might not expect. And before you click off and say, oh, there's a difference of opinion on whether or not it's halal or haram, just save that for now. Wallahi, I am not here to argue with you. I just want to help. Just forget haram and halal for now. What is music actually doing to you? Yes, music. When you're listening to music, you're essentially drip feeding dopamine into your brain with zero effort required. Artificial dopamine. And before we keep talking about this, I just want to ask you, if you get rewarded for doing nothing, what do you think that's going to do to your dopamine? What do you think it's going to do to your discipline? Is it going to help your discipline or is it going to harm your discipline? The answer is obvious. So why would you drip feed unearned dopamine into your system? Now, you can try to argue with this all you want, but you just agreed with me that unearned dopamine makes your discipline much worse. So be a man of integrity and be consistent. If you're struggling with this, just say that. Don't rack your brain trying to justify why it's okay to be doing it and how much it helps you with your workouts. Just admit it's something that you're struggling with and work to fix it. And I remember a friend that genuinely never thought he could quit music. He told me that he loves it so much, but he knows it hurts him and it's wrong. And he wanted so badly to fix this issue. So he took a gradual approach. At first, he just promised himself that he would stop listening to it in his car, that he would just indulge in podcasts or listening to the Quran on his way to work. And he told me at first it was so diabolically boring, but he got used to it after a while. He started to enjoy learning new things on his way to work versus just injecting himself with dopamine on his way to work. And he felt fine about it because he could indulge in music at any other point in his day. At the gym, at work, wherever, just not in the car. He promised himself he wouldn't do it in the car. And when he tried to stop listening to it at the gym just became 10 times less fun. And I remember him telling me how devastating this was for him. But then he replaced this playlist with some inspiring gym nasheeds. And then he started playing Quran on his car on his way to work, and so on until music just stopped being a part of his life. Again, this approach is way more sustainable and it makes complete sense as to how he quit this. He replaced artificial dopamine with real earned dopamine. And he cultivated warrior-like discipline by cutting it out. And side note, if you want to level up your discipline and become the most disciplined Muslim man that you can be by living like the Sahaba, there's actually a course that teaches you how to do just that, to live exactly like that the Sahaba, following their day-to-day routines and becoming the best version of yourself, inshallah. There's a link in the description. The second one is something a bit more obvious, but the most destructive one in this entire video, and it's neglecting your salah. Now, I'm not talking about just not praying, neglecting your salah and not being focused in your salah. This destroys the structure and the barakah needed to become more disciplined. I remember when my prayer habits weren't where I wanted them to be. There was a specific point where a lot of the times when I was doing my prayers, I felt like I was just going through the motions. And I was so depressed, I'll just say it. And I couldn't put my finger on why, so I went back to my foundation, my salah. And I wasn't missing prayers. I just felt like my focus, my khushu' was not there. Not where I wanted it to be. I would delay them a bit too much, like 10 minutes before the next prayer would start. It was just bad. So I decided to fix it. I decided to make that priority number one. I tried to narrow down the reason why I was so distracted in them, and I figured it out. And it was pretty obvious. It was because I wasn't understanding what I was saying in my prayers. I was just making the sounds, making the noises, saying the surahs. So I sat down for 20 minutes and I figured out what I was saying during these surahs. And alhamdulillah, that helped. I was excited to fall back in love with my salah. But my focus still wandered more than I liked it to. And I was scared, man. Like, I was scared that my prayers weren't being counted because of how distracted I got. So I decided to try one more thing. I started to recite surahs that resonated with me and my current situation that I was dealing with. So think about this for a second. Just pay attention. If someone had a solution to the problem that you were going through, the biggest problem in your life that you were going through right now, you would listen, right? You'd listen intently. But if someone is giving you solutions to problems you've already solved, you're more likely and almost guaranteed to zone out or space out because it's not relevant to you and your predicament. So what are you going through right now? Or what do you need to be reminded of? Do you need to be reminded to be grateful? Are you struggling with gratitude? Then recite Surah Al-Kawthar or many other surahs about gratitude. What about you needing to be reminded that time is running out and you need to get it together? You need to get your life together? Read Surah Al-Asr. That's one of my favorite surahs. What about if you're rising in success, alhamdulillah, but you need an ego check? Read Al-Hamaza. Read surahs that resonate with who you are as a person right now and watch what happens to your focus during your salah. And I don't feel like I should even need to address this, but for those who aren't praying at all, if you can't give 5 minutes, just 5 minutes, to the one who fashions you, who sustains you, who gives you all the money that you need to survive right now. You're not homeless right now if you're watching this, most likely. Who gives you the ability to walk, talk, breathe. Like when your heart beats, it asks for permission to beat from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then what makes you think you can accomplish anything significant? Shaitan has convinced you that you can't give 5 minutes to the one who gave you everything, who your eyes are asking for permission right now to watch this video. You can study for hours of work for the next upcoming exam or give weeks of your life to your boss, months, years to your boss. Think about it. Think about how, astaghfirullah, think about how cucked you are by Shaitan. May Allah protect us all. Ameen. Now the last, most obvious, and most shameful one is pornography. I cannot truly overstate this. This is one of the most insane normalized things in our world today. A'udhu billah. You have a Christian country in the United States of America or the UK that allows this, like they legalized this filth that's ruining so many people's lives, just like gambling, just like drinking. I want you to imagine being able to Uber Eats any girl to your house right away. You can make her look and act however you want. Hell, you can even have 3, 4, or 5 delivered right now. Your dopamine receptors would be absolutely fried by day 2 of that. You wouldn't get anything done. You would be a sloth on the couch. That is the equivalent of what this is doing to you. It sounds like the perfect idea. It sounds consequence-free. No one gets hurt and there's almost no visual signs of use. And that is why it's the silent killer. You're getting the level of dopamine and accomplishment that Genghis Khan essentially would have gotten. And the difference is none of it was earned. None of it was earned with your looks, with your status, with your wealth, with your effort. None. It is the epitome, the extreme, the other side of unearned dopamine. Like if you think music is bad, look at what this is doing to you. It's 40 times worse. But you already know it's bad. So how do you stop? And wallahi, this is one of the hardest things to quit because it taps into your innate male fitra, the love that God gave us of women. How can you fix something that is literally hijacking your biology? Well, you do it in 3 steps: redirection, psychological hacks, and tawbah. Now, what do I mean? If you redirect your innate male fitra of conquest, leadership, and yes, women, into mastering a skill, leading your household, or finding a wife, you'll be satisfying your desire in a more conducive way without destroying your soul. And I'm oversimplifying it, obviously. I could talk about this for hours on end, and it deserves a video on its own. But that's the high-level overview of redirection. The second step is the psychological hacks. The best way to extinguish the flame of any addiction is to make it extremely hard for you to do and make doing more productive things easier. For example, I have this device called the Brick. And if, for example, I have a scrolling addiction and I mainly scroll at 10 p.m., you could set a schedule on this Brick that locks your device at 10 p.m. And no, it's not a thing of where you could just tell your phone that you just need 10 more minutes or ignore the limit for today. Meaning the only thing that I have access to after my phone locks at 10 p.m. is my notes app, my podcast app, and any other productive thing that I can do. Now, if I really want to scroll, I'd have to sneak out as quiet as I can without waking my daughter up and scan my Brick, which is inconveniently in the kitchen and not in the bedroom. The difficulty of reactivating access to my vice is superseding me wanting to do it. Does that make sense? Now, the last step, tawbah. Do you slip up All you have to do is talk to Allah, sincerely regret what you did, and make the concerted effort to not do it again. You hate the sin in your heart and you move forward with the promise to yourself that you're not going to return to the sin. And you have shame about it. And don't let the media or liberalism convince you that it's bad to have shame or that you should be proud of the sin. A'udhu billah. It's okay to feel shame. And if you start to actually embody and go through with these 3 steps, you'll eventually become a person that doesn't need to watch these things and someone who actively wages a war on it. These are some of your modern enemies now. While some of the mujahideen are fighting real enemies of Islam, you're engaging in jihad al-nafs. The Sahaba had real, tangible enemies they had to quell. This is your jihad right now. Don't neglect it. And like I said, if you want to build the discipline of the Sahaba by living like the Sahaba and the Prophet ﷺ, the course and the description will quite literally change the trajectory of your life. And if you find videos like this helpful, the course is 10 times more valuable than that. I truly believe in it with all my heart, wallahi, and I would love for you to improve your life because of it. JZAK khair. Thank you for watching. As-salama.